You don't fall out of love, you fall into resentment. See, when a relationship goes off track, it happens gradually. It's generally not an overnight thing. Even when someone's had an affair, you might say that's the moment that the relationship goes off track. It's not. It started way before that person decided to have an affair. And they decided to have an affair not because they're flawed. They decided to have an affair because one or the other of the partners has been closed off to love. It's much easier to love someone else than to actually let love in and be fully into the relationship, fully committed into the relationship. This is the reality of it. And when you're falling out of love, that doesn't happen. You merely fall into resentment. This idea we've got, this saying that we've got, you fall out of love. You don't fall out of love. You know you love your partner. You've always loved them. You loved them from when you met them. However, over the period of time, what happens is we go through the 5 stages of a relationship. And when we get into that normalcy stage, and if you haven't, or you don't know what the 5 stages of a relationship are, watch my other video at the top of my channel, pinned up there on the 5 stages of relationship. And when you're in that normalcy stage of just, doing the day-to-day thing, the problem is that now we get distracted. The tension that we used to have in the infatuation and honeymoon period, the time we used to spend together, we're no longer doing that. We're no longer spending that intimate time together. We don't create that for ourselves anymore. And gradually we slowly start to feel our needs are not being met in the relationship. As a woman, generally because he's not present, he's shutting down and walking away. As a man, because she's just not warm and affectionate to you anymore. She's just very functional in the house, either going off to work or looking after the kids. And she's not coming up to you and cuddling you anymore and kissing you like she used to. And at that point is when we start to resent our partner for not meeting our needs. And if we allow that to go on for too long, we end up firmly in resentment. And when we're firmly in resentment, it's like we need to understand that one of the most basic things you have to do inside a relationship is argue, forgive, and reset. And if you can't do that, your relationship will gradually slide into resentment. Many of the comments that I see from people about their partners on this channel are directed towards the fact that they're stuck in some place. They're critical towards them, or they don't seem committed, or they don't seem involved in the relationship. And it sounds like, and it is, blame towards that partner. But that's not the reality. The reality is that partner is stuck in resentment and they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to relieve themselves of the burden of all the things that have built up that lead to resentment. Now, women have what we call filing cabinets. They remember everything that's been done. Date and time stamped as to when he didn't or when he did something that was hurtful towards her. Men, not so much. They just have this general feeling of not being connected to her. And you have to learn this skill of argue, forgive, and reset. Because if you don't, what just builds up is this resentment over a period of time. That's one of the things that we teach inside the Code event. One of the things that we help people move very quickly into, this ability to argue, forgive, and reset. So if you can see your relationship is stuck in resentment, this is one of the things that you need to move out of. And if you want to know more, the best way to do that is definitely book a discovery call with us, because at a more intimate and personal sense, we can take these general principles that I talk about and show you exactly how they're working in your relationship to keep you guys apart instead of firmly together in a warm, loving, committed, and lifelong relationship.